Well, good evening, everybody. I just thought I would take this uh, just a few moments here to talk to you a little bit about how I started painting and a little bit of my testimony and how that all started. I know some of you may have heard this before, but um, we're just gonna go ahead and start back, not quite at the beginning, but this is going to be very, very casual, so it's a little bit different from what I would normally put up, but um, this just gives you a little bit of knowledge about who I am and how I've grown up in my art and things like that. So I I've always been a very artsy person. My Some of my youngest, earliest memories, as far as drawing goes, are that I would draw these. I was very, very into dogs. Love dogs. I was obsessed with them, and I would draw these dogs, and I would draw pages and pages and pages and pages of these dogs, and every single one of them had a round head. So not exactly a very good artist at that time, not very observant as to how dogs' heads are actually shaped, but I didn't really care at that stage. I've just thoroughly enjoyed drawing these dogs with round heads, and I was also yeah, just very, very into drawing. And then I kind of grew up a little bit and started dabbling a little bit in acrylic painting a little bit, and kind of was fooling around with that. I did a couple pieces, but um, I put that off for a little bit because I was more interested in writing at the time. This would have been in my teens, and just really focused on doing that as another artistic pursuit. But I began to, without going into too many details, there was a period of time much, much later when I was like into high school and starting to think about college, that I was very, very, I felt very trapped inside. I was going through kind of a rocky period in my spiritual life, and I always felt like there was something that was maybe a little bit wrong with me, like I wasn't able to, hear God or even able to talk about God in the way that many of my family members could. And as some of you may know, my dad is a pastor, and I also have two brothers who have taken theology degrees. And So they would be sitting around, when we were all home, we'd be sitting around the dinner table, and they would be talking about different things that they had studied and learned, and discussions about God and things like that. And I agreed with everything they were saying, but I just didn't feel like I could enter into that discussion. I felt like there was something wrong with me, like I couldn't participate, like I was less of a Christian because I couldn't uh, express myself in a spiritual way, I guess. Um, so the result of that was that I was very, very angry, and but I kept it all pent up inside, and that was very, very, very challenging for me. Um, so right around that time, I was actually thinking about going to college. So I ended up going out to Providence College in Manitoba, and was still doing like a little bit of writing. I kind of was focused on that, and I was thinking maybe I would take humanities or history and things like that, and English when I was out there. But then I got into yeah, I discovered that there was theater, so I tried a theater class, and I just discovered such a love for doing theater. And one of the things that I was able to do when I was up there was when I was up on stage was to release all that pent up anger that I was feeling and experiencing. So in that sense, it was almost a little bit like a healing process of being able to get all that out, and theater what was able to do that for me. Um, in addition to that, I was also I didn't write as much when I was out at college, but I did paint a couple, again, small pieces, but I wasn't really thinking very seriously about painting or anything. I think the the learning that came out from college, and it's still for it took a few years to realize that God makes everybody different, and that he didn't make everyone to be theology professors, and or didn't make everyone to be pastors and missionaries, and he has different giftings for everybody, and God hadn't made a mistake in the way he had made me. Um, he created me to be creative, and to be into writing and into theater and into painting and stuff like that. That's how he has designed me, and it's not a mistake. It's all good. And so that's something I began to realize as I went through college. And so then after college, I came back home, and I was actually a little bit scared about finishing up school, because I was thinking, well, what if I can't find any other like theater stuff to do, because this is it just felt like like my spirit and my soul were just so engaged and uplifted when I was up on stage, and I was thinking that, well, what if I can't find that when I get back home? I mean, like, I'm going to be devastated anyway. But ended up that I was able to get involved with a couple of community productions when I got back to Brantford, which were good, but it wasn't all that I was expecting. But and then I was thinking about getting a little bit back into some of the other things, but I had a bit some other things on my mind actually, because I ended up getting married to my best friend shortly after the year after I think it was the year after I graduated, and then about a year after that, starting into down into motherhood. And so as you know, that takes a lot out of you when you're a mother to four small kids now. At the time I had two, and then so I was thinking, well, it's not exactly practical to be doing theater and to be being a stay-at-home mom at the same time. And nursing for that matter, so that's not going to work. So anyway, so I put that on hold for a little bit, and so then I went through like the motions a little bit with being a mom and stuff, and it was all good. Like, it was all good, but like I felt like there was, again, something that was missing, a little bit of a void and emptiness inside of me. And I'm just gonna take some of my tea here. But it wasn't until after my second child was just 6 months, and we had gone to Scotland to my brother's wedding, and it was at the wedding, or either before or after the wedding, that I was looking at some pictures that my grandma had painted, and she had taken some classes in watercolor, and she had painted a few things. And mom and I were looking at them, and she just made a comment like, "Have you ever considered? Would you ever try something like that?" And I don't know what I said. I think maybe I said, well, I don't know, maybe, but it was after that, and after I got back from the wedding, that I decided, oh, well, maybe I could look into that, and I started to do a little bit of research, and I came across like some different watercolor artists on YouTube and stuff, and it was like in the research and looking into it and stuff that I just felt felt that ecstasy and that joy starting to creep up again, and just like, wow, this, I want to do this. And it's difficult to describe it, but for everyone it's different. But for me, that was something that was very clear, that there's something that drew me to that. And it was something that I tried, and I wasn't very good at it at first, but after the kids were in bed, I would pull out some like cheap paints and stuff that I bought, and try and fool around with stuff. I was following like a couple of YouTube tutorials, and with watercolor and stuff, and it was not that great, but I found that I just really enjoy kind of fooling around with the color, and just having fun with that. And it was about 6 months after that, just after my second turned a year old, that I got into oil painting as well. And it kind of hasn't stopped from there. So I've been again, we have 4 kids now, as I mentioned, but like it's again, has tried to make a point of doing coming down and doing painting and stuff like that after the kids are in bed. Morning, everybody. I apologize for ending the last clip so quickly. My husband came home, and I needed to stop the video, but I'd like to try and pick up where I left off from last night. So we got to the point when I was telling you about so I had started getting into painting, and just feeling so alive in my soul when I was painting when the kids were in bed. And it's been typically I always try to remember how long I've been doing this, and I always do it based on when Silas turned 1, or thereabouts. So he's going to be 6 end of December, so that will be 5 years at that point, when I will have since I started painting. So during that time with painting, I was painting, pretty consistently, on and off, doing various projects. But I think in terms of my spiritual walk and growth with it, it's been interesting, because there've definitely been periods when it's just been, me painting a pretty picture, and it's about the result of, what comes out. And there have been times of, me wanting to be a perfectionist, and that was pretty early on. It was just, I'm so concerned about it being perfect. And realizing that, perfectionism, no one's going to attain perfectionism. It's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be someone else better than you who can paint. But anyway, just for me spiritually, just focusing on the end results and all that kind of thing, which is fine, and focusing on developing my skill set and things like that. But it, over the last, I guess, year or so, it's been interesting seeing how I've come to realize more and more that there's just drawing the connection between God and between my art, and how those times in the studio downstairs have become more and more less about an escape from kids, and more about an encounter with God, which might sound a little bit strange to some of you, perhaps, But because it's quiet and because there aren't kids around, for me, I can find I can empty my mind a whole lot better. Um, it's it's when my mind is empty, when the distractions are away, when God can speak to me, or I can hear God's voice speaking to me, and yeah, it's sometimes it's difficult for me to put this into words, because in a sense, if I feel I put it into words, it kind of cheapens it a little bit. So in that sense, I'm not going to try to explain that too much more. But the point I'm trying to make is that the painting has become less and less about me and more about him, and developing my relationship with him and allowing him to work through me. So, and that's something that's been coming on like slowly, and some times in the studio are definitely a little bit more about okay, I got to get this done for somebody. But I think when I'm intentional about going into that space, like and wanting to, having having a worshipful time, like it was a time of worship to God, then that always makes it so much more rewarding and so much better. So anyway, that's just something that's been going on the last year and a bit. But it's all a journey, and I'm still learning, obviously, and I don't know exactly. Well, I have some idea maybe what the next step might be as far as my art goes. I'm definitely going to continue on with it, because there's still that there's still the sense that this is what I need to be doing. This is what I'm created to be. This is where I am fully alive. And so I will be continuing on with that. And so anyway, more to come. That's kind of up to the present point at this time. But I just wanted to spend some time and just share with you a little bit about my art journey, and a little bit of my testimony. So I hope you are able to be inspired and encouraged by that a little bit, and I hope you can possibly look into your own life a little bit about different ways that God has shown His face to you as well, and how you can be encouraged by that as well. So that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoy a very, very good week, and we will talk to you again in the next video. Blessings to you and yours.